We're at the Hard Rock Hotel, the luxury beach resort at Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. We're looking at video footage from the morning of September 11th, 2018. The event we want to observe is already in progress and is visible in these light areas. Now, the first big clue that we have a notable situation is when we take notice of two particular details. The time of day being about 7:23 in the morning, and the direction this camera is facing, which is west. What we are seeing in this picture is immensely significant. Right in front of us is a major anomaly. In order to realize the situation, we need to establish a couple basic details. We've noted that we're facing west, and to vividly demonstrate this, we turn to an evening view from this same camera. So at about 7:15 p.m., we're approaching sunset. And as everyone knows, the sun sets in the west. So, with this being an evening view, how do we explain this occurring in the morning? Stating the obvious, the sun doesn't rise in the same place that it sets. Moving on to further observations. One proverbial elephant in the room is the continuous fluctuations in the light intensity and output. We're talking about the apparent pulsing, flashing, surging, and sudden drops or increases in the light intensity in the sky. Now, this generally appears to be coming from the sun. However, there are complications with such an assessment, which we'll address in a minute. But before moving on, I'd like to verify immediately that this footage here that we're looking at from a webcam in Acapulco, Mexico, has not been touched up or altered in any way. This flashing effect that we see is exactly what was recorded by the camera. No human hands are manipulating the image to make that happen. And one other point, the question could be raised, isn't that probably just the camera light sensor that is reacting to the fact that the camera is aimed at the sun? Well, these are some of the quandaries and questions that we must unravel in order to understand correctly what is actually happening here. It would be beneficial now to take a moment to view another example of this phenomena. So here we have video footage from the morning of the 11th of June, 2018, Mexico City. Isn't that peculiar, how the light is pulsating? And so we arrive at the critical question, is this actually happening, or is it merely an effect of the limitations of the camera equipment? Now, the time display shows that it's early morning, and this is an east-facing camera, so we would naturally presume that this is the sun that we're seeing here. However, as we'll see in a moment, the sun hasn't actually come up to that area yet. And there it is, finally breaking through the dense blanket of cloud. Let's back up a few seconds, as there's another observation that we don't want to miss. Now that we can see both the sun and that larger light area, we're also able to see the oscillation or surging of the light seems to be happening for that large area, but the sun down below is remaining constant. And one other observation, notice the alignment. The larger bulk of light is centered a little bit over to the right from where the sun is, demonstrating that we have two separate light focal points here. And away it goes, still pulsing and surging. At this stage, it's necessary to address a couple more sideline details for the benefit of certain queries and questions that may arise in the process of this discussion. To begin with, this footage that we've been observing from the Santa Fe webcam in Mexico City is a section that we've been repeating, spanning about a half hour of time, from 6:45 a.m. to about 7:15. And you will have noticed that the speed has been multiplied to observe a greater span of time within just a couple minutes. Thus, one valid and important question that a person could raise is, speaking in a hypothetical quote here, you're showing footage that has been drastically sped up, and that's what is probably causing that flashing and pulsing and surging effect. You could probably take a lot of videos from sunrises, and if you speed them up like that, it's going to look like the sun is flashing and pulsing as you're trying to claim. Answering that, I've looked into this quite a bit, and you will find that even in real-time footage, these flashes and pulses show up just as profoundly and distinctively as we see them in the sped-up footage. Moreover, if you film a sunrise where everything is behaving normally, you can go ahead and speed it up all you want, and you won't get this kind of pulsing and flashing. All you'll have is the sun rises up in fast motion. Now, this present video was not intended to be a comprehensive examination of this phenomena. We're already a bit sidetracked with it. The main objective here is to simply observe the event at Nuevo Vallarta on the morning of September 11th, 2018. We return now to watch more of the event that we started with in this discussion. Another peculiarity seen in the footage are these two objects. Now, we may come back to that in a later discussion. For now, I'm satisfied to just point them out and bring it to our attention. Okay, we're going to skip forward about 15 minutes in the footage to observe what's unfolding. There's another aspect of this situation in which the brightly illuminated focal point travels in a north towards south type of direction. A person could say, well, what purpose does that observation serve? All of these aspects contribute to the accumulation of data by which we come to understand more and more about the overall situation. So, we close this discussion with looking at a distinctive light source in the west-facing morning sky. And it seems to me that the situation in front of our eyes here has the potential to derail the mind, as it were, dropping us into an unresolved, does not compute sort of loop. What I mean is, looking at this scene, even though I know of a certainty that there's nothing fake or rigged about it, and I myself recorded it from the live webcam feed, etc., etc., I don't think it actually sinks in to my realization. It seems like for a lot of people, me included, the mind has a way of glossing over it. And upon seeing this, the brain kind of automatically patches it up, saying, "Oh, lovely sunset or sunrise. Everything looks normal here. Moving on, no problem." However, this is not normal, and is in fact highly extraordinary. Under all of the known players and the generally understood workings of the solar system, what we see here can't be happening. This situation is of sufficient magnitude and importance that it should be blazing across the headlines of newspapers, radio, and television broadcasts.